All right, good afternoon, Pink Sox. Coach Charles here. It's Monday, putting the video up a little bit early because we had a lot to process. It was a big weekend. I had Avengers on Friday. I had doubleheader with my favorite softball maniacs on Saturday. Game of Thrones last night. It's just been a lot of emotions, a lot of wild ride this past weekend. It was a lot of fun. I hope you girls had fun. I can tell that there was a lot of good energy out there. Everyone was getting into it. Everyone was getting along, and that's exactly what I like to see. I love seeing the sportsmanship out of you ladies. Sharing snacks and treats with the other team. That's what it's about. It's about having fun, being out there, recognizing that the girls are on the other team, but they're not just excuse me. They're not just nameless faces that we're playing. They're actually girls just like our team that just want to have fun and be out there. Okay, so excellent job with that. Also, excellent job making the adjustments out there. All right, the team that we played was older. We saw some of those girls. There was a girl who was about a foot and a half taller than me, I think. All right, they had more experience. They've practiced more. It wasn't their first game. For us, it was a lot of firsts. A lot of people playing the game for the first time. This team working together for the first time, and you made some fantastic adjustments. If you didn't make a play at a base the one time, the next time you made the adjustment and made it. You were learning a lot on the fly, and you know what? I can't be upset with that. I cannot be disappointed in anything that I saw. You were getting great swings at the plate. You were making some really good plays in the field. You were adjusting the way, you were listening to directions. You were following, when, Coach Luis or Coach Jose or myself told you where to go. With Coach Izzy on the bench helping us out and keeping score and doing all of that. You were listening to her and getting together for batting orders so that we can get back out there on the field as quickly as possible. That's the stuff I want to see, ladies, all right? That was excellent effort out there, all right? So please know that you did a fantastic job out there and that we're all proud of you for the effort you put forth, and I promise you, we're only going to get better, all right? It only gets better from here. Big takeaway from Saturday's game is what I've said a couple of times, defense, all right? Defense is what's going to be, that's what's going to make the difference, all right? We hit pretty well. They hit pretty well. They were able to just find holes. Some of we would hit right to them sometimes. There was one point where we hit to the same girl like 5 times in a row. It was like the ball had a magnet. It happens sometimes, okay? That just happens. But one of the ways that they helped it happen was by closing ranks on the infield. And that's something that I want to go over today, because the only way that's going to work is if you're being attentive out there, all right? They were ready to go. They were always ready, all right? You need to have quick reaction time when you're playing as shallow, and I'll show you in a minute when I bring out the whiteboard what I mean by playing deep versus shallow on the line. If you react quicker, you can get to the ball a lot quicker. If you're holding back a little bit, the ball is taking that much longer to get to you, and that could be the difference, because a lot of those plays where they got us out at first base were this close, one step. That's all it would have taken. And it wasn't that you girls weren't hustling, because I loved seeing that. Every single one of you that ran to first base ran like you were on fire. I loved it. There was no quit. There was no give up, and that's exactly what I want to see. That was fantastic base running out there, ladies. Sometimes they just make good plays. It happens, all right? Sometimes the best player is going to get thrown out at first base by a good play. They made some good plays that were, that could have gone either way. So, that was another great thing to see, was the hustle, the not giving up. I want you girls attentive in the field for a couple of reasons. First of all, the basic reason from a game point of view is, if you're not paying attention and you're looking around, or you're spinning, or you're playing with dirt or sitting down and stuff like that, and the ball gets hit and you don't see it till it's right here or it's rolling past you, that's going to allow them to get on base. But even more than that, if you're doing that, it can lead to you being injured. And that's what I don't want to see happen, all right? I don't want you to not be watching where the ball is and then all of a sudden notice it and not be able to react in time and take a line drive to the chest or even to the face. Even with those face masks on, it's going to ring your bell a little bit, all right? I don't want to see you girls get hurt. I know that some positions at any given point in the game feel boring. You know, it's not like the pitcher and the catcher, which is a constant, you know, those two are constantly in the action. I know playing left field, playing even second base, you know, and shortstop, stuff like that, sometimes it can be boring because it's not as much action. I wish that I can stand here and lie to you and tell you that softball is a thrill-a-minute roller coaster ride. Every single second on the field is action. It's not. It's not that kind of sport. That's a basketball. That's ice hockey or roller hockey. That's lacrosse. That's soccer, where everybody's moving at the same time and the game is dynamic and there's constant changes of possession. Softball is a different type of game, okay? You have to be ready. And this goes back to what I talked about a few weeks ago with being mentally ready up here. And that means being there, like we talked about, being there so that your legs can rock back and forth so that you can react to a ball quickly. All right? You want to be able to keep that focus so that when the ball is hit, you're not confused with what to do. You've already got the plan. You're watching the batter. You're watching the ball. Where it gets hit, you're playing at shortstop, and you see that ball is going to, you know, towards first base or going towards second base. Run over to second and cover, okay? If it's coming to you, don't automatically go over and cover second base, because if you do that, you might be running away from the ball. And we saw that a couple of times, just the ball's hit, I'm going to go cover a base, but forgetting you got to get the ball first, right? Don't run away from the ball. The ball's rolling slow, charge it. You know, you might have backup. I saw a nice play, you know, at first base. The ball was rolling up the line, and, you know, Jillian came in to get it. Anna rolled in from right field to back up the base, just in case Jillian could make the play. That's what I want to see. Olivia made another great play over at third base. The ball rolled by her. She tried for it. It rolled by her. As soon as she saw it was in the outfield, she ran and she stood on third base and she waited just for a throw, just in case. Other great plays sometimes isn't making the play. Grabbing the ball and knowing, okay, I have no base to go. I'm not just going to throw it blindly. I'm going to look over there. There's no one to throw to. There's no one to throw to there. I'm just going to hold it, send it into the pitcher. Sometimes the right play is not making any play. It's doing that and stopping the run. That was perfect, all right? There's a lot of learning. A lot of learning from me, too. Learning who fits where, which players, you know, work the best at which, you know, positions. We move things around. That's why I do this. That's why I move players around. So don't be disappointed in anything that happened on Saturday, all right? I'm really proud of the effort you girls did. Now, I want to show you something when I'm talking about playing shallow. All right? I'm still here, I promise. All right. I made a modification to our board, okay? I added these dotted lines. That's to represent the base path. It was a nice play that Molly made when she was here at second base. The ball got hit to her. There was a girl running from first, and Molly tried to tag her. The girl ran. You're allowed to run a little bit around the fielder, you know, to avoid a tag, but she ran like way the heck out there, and that's why that girl was called out. She ran completely outside the baseline. If you're a fielder and you have the ball and you're in this dotted line, you have the right of way. You are allowed. You're entitled to try and make the play. It's up to the runner to avoid the tag. The runner could have done a little, you know, quick step around. She could have done like a quick stop and try to run back and then try to you know, trick Molly into being off balance and lunging towards her and then getting around her. Her issue was that she went so far outside the baseline that it wound up being called an out. It's an excellent heads-up play by Molly to do that. All right. What was happening with us is we were hitting right to them. It was like it happens. There, we play right here on the back side of the line. All right. This is where we were playing, except for third base and first base, which was pretty much. But we were playing pretty deep. They were playing more here. So those hard hit balls were getting to them faster. You can just see how it's going to hit that dot before it hits that X. And the reason that worked for them is because their reaction time was quicker. That's what we're going to work on in practice, is starting to play a little bit further inside and reacting to the ball faster. This way the ball doesn't have as far to travel before we can make a play. Because that ball may get to second base perfectly, but it may be too late. Whereas if it's right here, that's what kept happening. They were playing so shallow and reacting fast, they would get the ball, and then be able to make the throw. If they had been playing back here, they wouldn't have made that throw as easily. But the only way that can work, especially in these two positions, is if you're attentive and reacting to the ball. And that also means the outfielders need to be attentive and reacting. This is where outfield backup really comes into play, because the downside to playing in so shallow is that you have a smaller margin of error. If the ball is hit really hard, you don't have as much time. Even if your reaction time is quick, if this ball gets, hit and it's a rip shot this way, you only have, maybe 2 seconds, whereas over here you might have 4 seconds, and that might be the difference between you being able to come over here and cover it, all right? So that's the weakness. Everything has a strength and a weakness. The strength is you get to those ground balls quicker because you're closer to where the ball was hit from, which enables you to throw the ball earlier than you normally would. The downside is if you are a second late, if your reaction time is off and you're not paying attention, that ball goes by you. And that's where your outfielders have to be ready. That's why outfield, I know it's boring sometimes. I know standing there, a lot of it's you're standing there and you're waiting for something to happen, and sometimes an inning goes by and nothing might happen. It just might be that way. We had, in the beginning of the game, very close game. It was a 2-1 score in the first 2 innings. It wasn't a lot of offense because we had a lot of good defense and a lot of good pitching on both sides. That happens sometimes. Other times you have just a crazy, run fest, like the last inning that we played, when both teams were scoring, and we brought the coaches in pitching, and we're just everyone was throwing, and it was just crazy because there was a lot more offense. We want to see, it's going to be both things, all right? You never know what you're going to get in a given game. I don't know what this team is like that we're supposed to be playing Saturday in Brunswick. I just don't. I don't know if they're like the team we just played, or if they're more like us, if they're, lower level than us. I don't know. We'll see Saturday, all right? But regardless of who we play, regardless of what they're like, the same fundamentals are in play, all right? So we're going to work on, in practice, and if for some reason it rains on Friday, which given our luck it probably will, but let's just try and be positive. If it does not rain on Friday, we're going to work on getting you girls into the field. I'll have some of you bat, and we'll work on, getting these fielding drills, making sure that we remember if it's hit over to here, shortstop, come over and cover. If it's hit towards this way, second base, come over and cover. Outfielders, be ready, because if that ball goes past your infielder, you're the last line of defense. What you don't want to have happen is the ball goes past your fielder and you're not paying attention, and then suddenly the ball is rolling all the way back there and you've got to run, 20, 30 feet to get it before being able to throw it back in. Because that entire time you're running out to get that ball, that girl is also running in, all right? That's why I want to see the right and left center fielders play a little bit deeper to guard against that. And I want the left fielder and the right fielder to keep playing a little bit shallow so that right field can back up first base when necessary and left field can back up third base when necessary. The backing up, it's stuff we're getting used to. I saw a lot of it, though, the other day. It was a lot of nice being able to back one another up, being there, understanding. It's all coming together. It's a lot when it's happening in the heat of the moment. I get that. All right? So, again, I'm very proud of the way you played. It's your first time out there, ladies. All right? And we hung with a team that has a lot more age, a lot more experience. They've had a game already this season. They've had a lot more practices. We were able to still do our thing and compete. And that just shows that if we're already competing with these teams with more experience, what are we going to do with even more experience when we get it? We're going to be even better, all right? Work on this, all right? Make sure you understand what I'm talking about. Playing back here versus playing in here, that could be a key difference. But you've got to be attentive in order for it to work. Because if you're not paying attention, the ball's going to fly by you, all right? Hopefully, you girls had as much fun as I did on Saturday, and hopefully we get to do it all over again this week with some practice on Friday and a doubleheader up in Brunswick on Saturday. Until then, any questions, feel free to contact me, and I'll see you soon. All right, ladies, go Sox.